I've lived my whole life in Michigan, most of it in West Michigan. I love this state and I love this country that we're a part of. At some stage in high school, I fell in love with America, the land, the history, and the freedoms that we experience. I really became a patriot. This led me to join the Air Force Reserves while I was in college and even study some military science while I was there. Needless to say, I've spent a lot of time thinking about and even studying the idea of American freedom and the American pursuit of happiness in light of the freedoms that we experience. It's interesting to me now because in seminary, I've been studying pretty in-depth St. Augustine for the past month or so. And I've realized that the pursuit of happiness by way of only freedom, as we tend to think about it as Americans today, would be pretty problematic for Augustine. You see, Augustine's main thesis, and I mean his thing, is that we are people of love and desires. And as broken people, we live with a series of disordered desires. We tend to love the wrong things, or we love the right things, but in the wrong order. The truly happy life, the free life, according to Augustine, is to love God. You see, the American idea of happiness is that we are completely free to pursue our own individual desires and private ideas of what is good. But Augustine wouldn't call this freedom. He would call this slavery. He would call this slavery to the desires of our own flesh, or a self-centered love. But the true happy life, the free life, according to Augustine, is not one of loving ourselves and pursuing individual freedom, but of loving God before all else. He writes in his Confessions, "There are those who do not want to find you their source of joy, but that is the sole happy life." You see, the American idea is that the more freedom we experience, the happier we will be. Whereas Augustine's idea is found in that famous line, "Our heart is restless until it finds rest in you." This is true freedom, saying yes to loving God over and above the rest of our desires. All of this reminds me of Paul's words in Galatians 5 when he says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." How then, if Christ has set us free, could we become slaves? Well, we become slaves, in Augustine's words, to our own flesh, to our own self-centered desire and belief that having more of something will make us something more. But Christ has set us free, defeating evil and death and giving us the power to take up our cross and follow Him. So take heart, friends. In this hyper-political world that tells us to value our own desires and freedoms above all else, know that we are actually free in Christ from our selfish desires, to live into and out of the kingdom of heaven, the upside down, the truly countercultural kingdom that Jesus has ushered in, so that we may be content and find rest in Him. So this week, friends, live in grace and peace and freedom in Christ.